Hello everyone, my name is Aastha. I welcome you all to our classes for IEO for class 10th. This is our 9th class wherein we are going to do the topic of verbs. It's going to be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. All you have to do is revise the topic of your tenses as well. Alright, let's get started.
So what is our mission for today? आज हम कौन सा टॉपिक करने वाले हैं? Today we will be doing verbs. Now I can safely say that verbs according to me are the heart of the English language. Now, without verbs there is hardly any question, hardly any sentence in English which can be completed. So English is incomplete without verbs, and it really won't have any meaning without the usage of verbs. So now we will be understanding verbs, their meanings, and looking at its various examples as well. Let's start. The first question that comes to our mind is, what exactly are verbs? Now verb is a word that represents an action, an occurrence, or conveys a state of being. So verb, very simple definition, that verb is a word which represents any of these three things, like any action taking place, any occurrence that is happening, or it conveys about some state of being something or someone. Now all this will be clearer to you once we start doing the examples. So till then you have to remember and understand that verb is nothing but a word that represents either an action or any occurrence or any state of being. Alright, let's move on. Now the first thing represented by the verb is action. Right? So let's see some action verbs like eat. Now eat is a verb. Run is an action, it's a verb. Swim is an action, that's also a verb. Study, that's also an action, that's also a verb. Sit is also an action, it's a verb. Alright, so all these words are the ones that show some kind of action taking place. Right? So the words that represent action are known as verbs. Now let's move on. Here we have occurrence. Now happen, become. Happen means something that takes place, which means something that occurs. Right? So happen is a word that shows some kind of occurrence. And become as well. Become is used for a person, or when someone turns into somebody, being recognized for something. So become is another word that is used to show occurrence. So both of these are examples of words that show occurrence and hence are called what? They are called verbs. Easy, right? Now, another one is the state of being. The words that represent a state of being, like am, is. So these kind of words which show some kind of state of being. For I am, for example, if I say I am a girl, so I am expressing me being a girl. I am expressing that I am a girl. So my state of being is what? My state of being is a girl. Now these are a few examples for verbs. For example, you study English. Now study shows some action being done. This is a verb. Next, Aman plays with toys. So which is the word telling us some action? Plays. This is also a verb. Similarly, in the third sentence, Aisha reads the book. So reads tells us an action taking place. It is also a verb. Next, he sits on the ground. Sits. This is a verb which shows some kind of action taking place. So here we have a few action words which are the verbs. These either show some kind of action or some kind of occurrence or some state of being, like be, have, do, say, get, make, go, know, take, see. Others could be come, think, look, want, use, find, tell, ask, work. So these action words which tell us some kind of occurrence or state of being or some action taking place, all of these are called as verbs. Okay, I missed the one here, which was give. Alright. Alright, so here we have a new category of verbs. Now this is just a subcategory, we can say, of verbs which are phrasal verbs. And phrasal verbs are phrases that indicate actions. What did we learn about verbs? That verbs are words that indicate actions. But here phrasal verbs, as it is made of the word phrasal and verbs. So phrasal here refers to they being phrases that indicate actions. Phrases how? Now phrases is something that is made up of more than one word. So here phrasal verbs contain one word and either a preposition or an adverb. Alright, so what do phrasal verbs contain? They are verb plus any preposition or adverb. Now we know that the verbs are what? Verbs are words, but phrasal verbs are phrases. But both of them do the same thing of indicating certain actions. Alright, the only difference is the verbs are words and phrasal verbs are phrases, and they are formed with the verb plus any preposition or adverb. Alright. Okay, so here we have these examples of phrasal verbs. For example, the first one is get up. Get up का मतलब क्या होता है? Get up, you ask someone to like rise from like bed or somewhere, wherever. For example, when someone is sleeping, you ask them to get up, which means wake up. Can be another phrasal verb, can be wake up, right? Wake up. Now write down, when you ask someone to put whatever you have said in writing, whatever they have said in writing, you ask them to write it on that paper, write down. See, look forward to. So here sometimes 3 as said because look forward to. The verb is look, but here we can be using either 2 or 1 or 2 more words here. So here we have 3 words. Look forward to. मतलब look forward to का मतलब होता है जैसे किसी के लिए you are excited for something, you are excited and you are waiting eagerly, that is looking forward to. Then we have the phrasal verb go through. A verb is go and then through. This means किसी चीज के या किसी undergo करना या फिर experiencing something, some difficult period. Alright, then the next one is put up with. Put up with usually use होता है when we are saying that you have tolerated something, या कुछ आपने bear किया है, कुछ आपको problem हुई पर आपने सहा है. That is putting up with. Alright. Okay, so now what it is saying is, when added to the verb, the preposition or adverb may change completely the meaning of the verb. Here are some examples. Now इसका मतलब ये है कि जैसे जो हमारा phrasal verb बनता है, that is the verb plus either any preposition or any adverb. So ये preposition और adverb के add होने की वजह से हमारा जो verb का meaning है, that sometimes may completely change. Let's see a few examples. Okay. Now here we have the verb क्या है look. Look क्या मतलब होता है? Look is a verb and look means कहीं देखना. Okay. But here हमने look के साथ so many prepositions add करके we've made so many words like phrasal verbs like look for, look up to, look forward to, look up. Alright, and they have completely different meanings. And we have their examples. Let's see. The first one is look for. Look for मतलब किसी चीज के लिए search करना, seeking it, which means किसी चीज को ढूंढ रहे हो. तो I'm looking for this. Here example में भी यही है कि he is looking for his keys. Alright. See another one. Look up to. Look up to का meaning है have a great deal of respect for a person. Usually अपना idol या someone who's your mentor or guide. Let's see the example. His father is his model. He is the person he looks up to. Right? His model. मतलब उनके idol है उनके father. He really looks up to him. मतलब उनको बहुत मानते हैं and he has a great deal of respect for him. Okay. Now another word is look forward to, which means await eagerly and anticipate with pleasure. Now here is she is looking forward to visiting Paris. मतलब she is waiting eagerly and anticipating for what? For going to Paris, for visiting Paris. Alright. Let's see the other word. Look up. Look up का मतलब try to find a piece of information by looking in a book or in a computer. Which means searching for something कई book में या computer में, look it up. जैसे we say usually आजकल Google it. So look it up on Google maybe. So कुछ information book पे या computer पे search करना, that is looking it up. So let's see here. She didn't understand the word, so she looked it up in her dictionary. Alright. So ऐसे ही हमने देखा these is the phrasal verbs क्या होते हैं, बस verb and either a preposition or an adverb. Very easy concept. Alright. Okay, so here is another category of verbs which are auxiliary verbs. These are basically helping verbs. We call them as helping verbs as well. Helping verbs. And by helping, I think you can guess what do they do? They help the other verb. It is a subclass of verb that prototypically marks any tense, aspect, mood or voice. Now how? we will see these in the questions. जब हम auxiliary verbs की questions करेंगे तब you will see how it is helping the other verbs. And how does it help it? Basically by marking any tense or aspect or mood or voice. Examples we will see. So you just have to know that the verbs which help other verbs are auxiliary verbs. Alright, let's see a few examples. Okay, here. Do, does, did, has, have, had, is, am, are, was, were, be, being, been, may, must, might, should, could, would, shall, will, can. Now let me give you a few examples. For example, if I say, I will go to the market, right? What is it doing? This will, what is it doing? It is helping which verb? Go. I will go to the market. So will is the helping verb here and the main verb is go. Basically मैं बता रही हूँ कि मैं जाऊँगी, the main verb is go, but will, what is it telling us? It is telling us the tense. So how is it helping? By changing the tense into future. So that's what the job of an auxiliary verb is. They're pretty easy to understand. Right. Now let's move on to the next segment. Alright, so now we have another important category of verbs that you need to understand, which is transitive and intransitive verbs. So we will be learning about these in detail. What are transitive verbs? What are intransitive verbs? Then understanding their differences or maybe some similarities that they have. Let's see. Alright, so first of all, let's do transitive verbs. Now, what are transitive verbs? These are the verbs that require an object to complete the meaning. Now, we know we have a subject, we have a verb, and we have an object. Now, these are the verbs that compulsorily require an object to complete their meaning. Which means these transitive verbs cannot be completed without an object. And उनका कोई meaning नहीं रह जाता है if there is no object. Alright. Okay, let's try to understand this through example. You just have to remember one small thing, that transitive verbs, they require what? Require an object. Okay. Alright, like here. My mother sent me a letter. Here, what is the verb? Sent. And what is the object? Send me a letter. Now here you see the verb is sent, to send. My mother sent me what? Now, there is this question that you have to answer here. My mother sent me what? Sent me a letter. If we just say my mother sent me, you know, there has to be something that your mother sends you. So that object, this object is required to complete the meaning of the verb, right? That's why this verb send is an intransitive verb. Alright, let's see further. I borrowed a pen from my friend. Borrowed. Borrowed is the verb here. Now if I just say I borrowed, that is incomplete because there has to be something that I borrow to understand the meaning of the sentence completely. So I borrowed a pen from my friend. So I require an object to complete the meaning of this sentence. So that's why this again, borrowed is a transitive verb. Another example, she passed me a smile. Now she passed. Passed is what, a verb? Then we have this object here. Now passed, again the verb, it requires an object to complete the meaning. If I just say she passed, You don't know what did she pass, right? There has to be the answer to what. What did your mother send? What did you borrow? What did she pass? All right, there have to be answer. There has to be an answer to these questions. Okay, she passed you what? Passed me a smile. So, right, you require an object to complete the meaning of this verb. So this verb is again a transitive verb. Alright, so there is this simple simple tip and trick that you can remember to understand transitive verbs, that whenever you need to answer the question of what did the verb do, like what did the mother send, what did this person borrow, what did she pass. Okay, whenever you need an answer of what to complete the sentence, then that verb is a transitive verb. Alright, that's for the transitive verb. Alright, now we have intransitive verbs, which is pretty easy. They are the opposite of transitive verbs and they do not require an object to complete their meaning. Alright, they are self-sufficient in nature. Self-sufficient in nature means they are complete within themselves and they don't require an object. Alright, let's see how. Okay, so here, let's see. The fruits fell from the basket. Now the verb is fall. Okay, to fall. Now here I've given you a hint. You can't fall something, right? Here is there's this preposition used, fell from the basket. This is not an object. Okay. Now you cannot fall something. That's why this verb doesn't require an object. So it is an intransitive verb. Then my aunt arrived this morning. Arrived again. You cannot arrive something, right? We cannot ask the question of what. My aunt arrived what? That can't be a question, right? So here arrived again, intransitive verb. Then my brother gets up late every morning. So here the verb is gets up. And my brother, let's see. The brother can't get up something, right? Can we ask the question of what? My brother got up what? No, we can't answer the question. We can't ask the question of what, and neither can we answer that question. So all these verbs, what are these? These are intransitive verbs because they do not require any object to complete their meaning. Okay, I hope you have understood the basic difference between transitive and intransitive verbs. So transitive verbs are the ones which require an object to complete their meaning, whereas intransitive verbs are the ones which do not require an object to complete their meaning. Alright. Okay, so here we will be doing a very interesting category of verbs that are transitive and intransitive both. As in how we will see these examples, we'll figure out what I'm trying to say. Okay, so here, the first example, let's read the first sentence. It says, close the door. Close the door. Now here, can we ask the question of what? Close what? Close the door. So here, the verb close requires the object, the door, to complete its meaning. Right? So, close here is a transitive verb. But let's see the next sentence. The market closes at 5 p.m. Here the market closes. The verb is to close only. But does this verb here in this sentence require an object to complete its meaning? The market closes. Can we ask the question of what? The market closes what? No, we cannot ask the question of what. So here this is an intransitive verb because it does not require the object to complete its meaning. Alright. Let's see another example. Write your paper. Write your paper. Write what? Write your paper. So here the verb write requires the object your paper to complete its meaning. It's a transitive verb here. Then in the next sentence, my grandma can't write. Here write again, but this does not require any object to complete its meaning. So intransitive verb. Okay. So the next sentence, let's see. Third here, stop the bus. Stop what? Stop the bus. Again here the verb requires the object, the bus, to complete its meaning. So here it is a transitive verb. Then the clock stopped working. The clock stopped what? Here we cannot answer the question of what, right? There is no what to be asked. So stopped here. The verb stop is an intransitive verb. Then another example. He has done his homework. He has done what? He has done his homework. So the verb requires the object, his homework, to complete its meaning. Right. Next sentence. She is not doing well. Here the verb do does not require any object. So it is an intransitive verb. I hope you're getting the hang of it. Right here, my mother runs a shop. My mother runs what? Runs a shop. So this is a transitive verb. Then the road ran over the valley. The road ran what? We can't ask the question of what here in this sentence. So here run, the verb run does not require any object to complete its meaning. So there again it is an intransitive verb. So basically, in summary, what are transitive and intransitive verbs? Transitive verbs are those which require an object to complete their meaning, where we can ask the question of what and it is answered in the question by the object. But the intransitive verbs are the ones where the object is not required to complete the meaning of the verb. Alright. So that's for the transitive and intransitive verbs. Okay, so here we have another small category, pretty easy to understand but important to understand as well. Modal auxiliaries, which are known as modals. Now what do? These are another category of helping verbs and they do not change for different subjects. Like here when we did our other helping verbs, like those auxiliary verbs, they change as per subjects. Like when we have to be. Now to be can be said to can be called an auxiliary verb. So it changes accordingly with subject. Like with I we use am, with he we use is, like that. But here these modals, they don't change for different subjects and they are another category of helping verbs. What are their jobs and what do they help us do? What do they help us hint? Let's see that. Okay, like here we have can and could. So what are they used for? They're used for seeking certain, telling about certain ability, like I can do this, he can do that. And permission, they also use for permission, but it's not preferred in using for permission. Like when I say, can I come in? It is used in very, what I can say, very backward formal cultures, but not really in the current informal and comfortable sense, because can actually refers to your ability. So when you ask someone that, can I come in? It actually means that you're asking if you are able to come in. Now you have perfectly, a perfectly fine working body, and you can, of course, you have the ability to come in. But when you have to ask for permission, here you use may or might, like may I come in. All right. Then we have a possibility, can or could. This could be the this could be the groundbreaking research that changes the country. So possibility. Here also expression of possibility, may and might. Okay. Okay, so we have will and would. When do we use these? When we are talking about certain willingness to do something, would you like a cup of tea? When we're talking about an intention, I would never speak, I would never tell a lie to you. It's my intention. Or like a prediction, I think India would win the World Cup this year. So kind of a prediction we use will or would. Or maybe certain characterization. Okay. Here we have should, ought to, must. So when do we use these? Like when we have to give certain advice that you should wear the red dress, or maybe some sort of a deduction we're providing. And we have must, used for a certain obligation. Remember, for obligations you always use must. For certain prohibition you use must. For certainty you use must. Okay, we will see as and when they come in the questions, and then you will be clearer about their uses. These are just broad usages of these modals. You just need to have a brief idea that what modals really are. Okay, they help out. They help the main verb, and also they do not change with the subject. Okay. Alright, so we have a few more modals, like no, there will be a few more like need not, used to, etc., which we will see in the questions as and when they come, and I will explain their meanings to you. Okay, now I cannot really possibly include all of them. Most of them you must be aware of. Most of them, this modal is one thing that you would have been using them in your regular conversations. You just won't have realized that these are modals. So once that realization comes that this is where it fits in, it comes naturally to you, and once you look at the questions, you will see that this is not a difficult topic. Understanding the modals and figuring out which one to use where comes a little bit naturally when you have a good hold over the language. Alright. Okay, so here we have these two verb complements which are necessary to be learnt. Here, gerund and infinitives. Now, what are gerunds? Gerund is the verb plus ing form, and they generally used as a noun. Generally used as a noun, remember this. And what do they do? They name an activity rather than any person or a thing. Now, as we know, nouns are what? Name, they talk about any person, thing, place, animal. But here, when we use gerunds, they usually name an activity and not really a person or a thing. Alright. Okay, here we have how gerunds can be used with examples. They can be used either at the beginning of a sentence. Like here you see, dancing is my favorite hobby. So they talk about dancing. Now dancing is again an activity, and here it is a noun. Alright, first, so what do gerunds do? 2-3 things that we have to know. First, it is formed by the verb plus ing, dance plus ing, dancing is formed. Second of all, it is acting as a noun. Dancing is my favorite hobby. Then thirdly, here it is as a noun, it is naming what? An activity and not any person or thing. Alright. Then we have, it is also used as an object after verb. Like here we have, I don't like waiting for people. So waiting. Waiting is first of all formed with wait plus ing, the verb plus ing form.
Secondly, it is being used as a noun, like waiting for people. And thirdly, this is an activity. Waiting for people is an activity which is being named by the gerund. Okay. Another way, as an object after a preposition. Like after a preposition, I look forward to meeting you the following year. Now meeting you. Meeting is formed with verb plus ing, meet plus ing, right? Secondly, it is acting as a noun. And thirdly, meeting you the following year. This is also an activity that is being described by the noun, naming an activity of meeting this whosoever person or whatever, right? So what do gerunds do? Formed with verb plus ing, one thing. Second thing is that they act as noun. And third thing, they don't really name a person or thing, rather name an activity. Alright, these are gerunds. Okay, so here we have infinitive. Now how an infinitive is formed is 2 plus the base form of the verb, which is the V1 form. Alright, the V1 form plus 2. 2 plus the V1 form. And they act as other parts of speech in a sentence. Let's see how. Alright, so let's see how the infinitives work. Now first of all, they could act as an object following the verb. Like how? My brother always forgets to keep his keys. Now here the verb is what? Forgets. An infinitive is what? To keep. It is formed with 2 plus the V1 form. To keep. Right. And it is acting like which part of speech? It is acting like the object. My brother always forgets to keep his keys. Next up, infinitive could be used as a subject at the beginning of a sentence. Like how? To travel around the world requires a lot of money. To travel. To travel is the verb 2 plus infinitive. This is the infinitive. And how it is acting? It is acting like the subject in the sentence. Right. Another way could be as an adjective modifying a noun. How? My mother has a great ability to multitask. Here the infinitive is to multitask, formed with 2 plus verb, the base form, which is V1, multitask, and it is acting like an adjective, modifying the noun of ability. Alright. Then it could also act as an adverb, modifying a verb. Like here we have, she promised to work harder the next year. To work harder. Now to work is the infinitive form, 2 plus verb, V1, the base form, and it is acting like an adverb in this sentence. So for infinitives, what did we learn? It is formed with 2 plus the verb plus the V1 form, and then it acts like as different parts of speech in a sentence. Alright, this was gerunds and infinitives. Alright, so for the quiz, what we will be doing is, now every question you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute means 60 seconds. Why am I giving you 1 minute? Because you see, your question paper of IEO, it has about 50 questions, and so you can imagine that you get more or less a minute to answer the questions. Now this 1 minute is the maximum that you should be taking for answering the question. Now suppose there could be two, three categories of students. First category is, suppose you answer the question within that 1 minute. So I would request you to fast forward the video and skip right to the answer. You should not be wasting your time. Alright. Now the other students who are not able to answer the question in 1 minute, what you do, you don't skip to the answer. You pause the video and you write down your answer. Alright, it is very important to answer each and every question because there is no negative marking. Here you see, for every incorrect answer, no points, because there is no negative marking in IEO, so it is important that you attempt all the questions.
Now for a question of which you are not sure about the answer. Now even here and even in the exam, if you are not sure about the answer and you maybe think that B option might be correct or C option might be correct, so you should in that case play your luck and play your mind and make a guess and still give an answer, because it is a win-win situation. Either you will get the marks for that question or you will get a 0, right? But if you don't attempt that question at all, then you are anyway getting a 0 in that, right? So it is good to attempt those questions, and even if you don't know all the answers, try to understand and take a guess. Okay, so this is for every correct answer 10 points. This is just for your own little game where you can try to maintain a notepad. So here you write the name of the chapter and then the question, and then if it is correct you can give yourself 10 points. If it is not correct, you mark it here. So it is important to see these questions, the ones which you mark incorrect. It is important to go back to them later and then see where you did the mistake. Alright, this is just for your reference. For every correct answer you can give yourself 10 points. Alright, now let's start.
Okay, so now we start off with the questions on verbs. The first category of questions, what we have to do in here is, it says, fill in the blanks with the verbs that agree with the subject. So the verb that agrees with the subject, we have to take care what the subject is. Subject as in first person or second person or third person, or singular and plural, singular or plural, and accordingly conjugate the verb accordingly. Alright, let's see. Fill in the blanks with the verbs that agree with the subject. The first question says, the use of ATM, debit card, or credit card dash increased rapidly. Have increased rapidly, has increased rapidly, or C, increased rapidly, or D, do increased rapidly. The correct answer is B, has increased rapidly. The use, now this is what? This is third person singular neutral, it, like it, okay? So the use has increased rapidly. Alright, the verb subject agreement, that's how we do it. We recognize which verb is it, which subject is it, and then accordingly conjugate. Okay. Okay, here the fleet of vehicles dash caused the traffic jam. The fleet of vehicles have caused, is caused, am caused, or has caused. Now this may seem like this is plural, vehicles, but it is not. Here fleet. Fleet is the subject, the fleet. And fleet is third person singular. Okay, so we use the fleet of vehicles has caused the traffic jam. Here we have each of the teachers working in my school dash female. Am female, are female, is female, or were female. So here first recognize the subject each. Each of the teachers. This may seem like plural, but it is not. To be very careful, each is third person singular. Okay. So each of the teachers working in my school is female. C. Okay, next up we have the study of languages dash very enjoyable. Am very enjoyable, are very enjoyable, is very enjoyable, or has very enjoyable. Here again study. Okay, study is what? Third person singular again. Comes under the category of it. If we have to replace the study of languages with a pronoun, it would be it. So it is very enjoyable. The answer is C. It is very enjoyable. Okay, next up we have either cash or check dash taken. Alright, here again either cash or check. Again this is singular and third person So the answer is am, is, are, had. Answer is B, is. Either cash or check is taken. Alright.
So your time starts now.
Okay, next up we have choose the correct options for the given, choose the correct option for the given sentences. So here the first sentence says, I just love dash, I get excited whenever I see mountains. Okay, mountaineering, to mountaineer or having mountaineered. Okay, here we will be filling up the gerund mountaineering, the verb plus ing. Why mountaineering? Because first of all, it is acting like a noun here, and second of all, here we're describing an activity. So activity is what? Mountaineering. That's why A, verb plus ing. Other B is an infinitive. Mountaineer is just the base form. Having mountaineered, this is again not appropriate for the situation.
So your time starts now.
Okay, next up, during our vacation, we plan to go dash in the Indian Ocean. Plan to go surf, plan to go to surf, plan to go surfing, or plan to go having surfed. Again here, gerund, verb plus ing. First of all, it is acting like a noun over here. And secondly, it is describing an activity of surfing. Alright. The others, the surf is the base form, to surf is infinitive. Alright.
So your time starts now.
Okay, next, dash yoga is a means of remaining calm even in disturbing situations. Okay, practice yoga, to practice yoga, or practicing yoga, or having practiced. Again, practicing yoga. Practicing yoga is a noun over here, subject, and also describing the activity of yoga. So practicing yoga is a means of remaining calm even in disturbing situations. Gerund, verb plus ing. So your time starts now. Okay, here I felt my heart dash when I heard I would be able to see my favorite actor. I felt my heart to pound, my heart pound, or my heart pounded, or my heart having pounded. Okay, here the correct answer is I felt my heart pound when I heard I would be able to see my favorite actor. I felt my heart pound. Just the base form. So your time starts now. Okay, here pour the milk into the pan and let it dash for 5 minutes. Let it boil, let it to boil, let it boiling, or let it boiled. Here the correct answer is let it boil for 5 minutes. Here we're using just the base form because it says let it boil. Alright. Talking about a direction. So we just use the V1 form. Pour the milk, let it boil. Okay. So your time starts now. Okay, here it is impossible for you dash the ways of a child's heart. Impossible for you for understanding, impossible for you to understanding, impossible for you in understanding, or impossible for you to understand. Here the correct answer is D. It is impossible for you to understand the ways of a child's heart. Here this is, what are we talking about? This is an infinitive. To plus the base form, that's infinitive. Okay. So your time starts now. Here I look forward to dash the Bermuda Islands again. I look forward to visit. I look forward to having visited. I look forward to visiting, or I look forward to be visited. Alright, now here the correct answer is I look forward to visit. This was pretty easy because you see, because I look forward and then here to. We're given to already. So here obviously we'll be filling in the V1, the base form, to form the infinitive. I look forward to visit the Bermuda Islands again. Okay. So your time starts now. Okay, next up we have, do you know how dash pronunciation? Do you know how pronounce, how pronouncing, how to pronounce, or how pronounced? Okay, do you know how to pronounce pronunciation? This is this here infinitive. To pronounce is acting like the object. Do you know how what? How to pronounce pronunciation? So here infinitive acting like the object in the sentence. So your time starts now. Okay, next up, why don't you ask your uncle where in Kolkata? Where stay in Kolkata, where to stay in Kolkata, where staying in Kolkata, or where stayed in Kolkata. Here the correct answer is, why don't you ask your uncle where to stay in Kolkata? Again, this is what? Infinitive. Where to stay. So your time starts now. I always forget to take my toothbrush along and I have to dash a new one. I have to buying a new one, I have to bought a new one, I have to having bought a new one, I have to buy a new one. Again, what is the hint over here? I have to what? To buy a new one. Pretty easy. Again, infinitive. Right, have to buy, acting like an object. To buy a new one. That's the object in the sentence. So what do infinitives do? They act as different parts of speech. So here it is acting like the object in the sentence. All right. So your time starts now. Okay, next up, nowadays I'm learning dash. Drive, driving, to drive, or driven. Okay, here the answer is I am learning to drive. This here sort of, it is acting like a noun here. What are you learning? Or we can say it's acting like an object. You are learning what? Learning to drive. So the object. I am learning to drive. Again, infinitive. Others, drive is just the V1 form. Driving is the gerund. Driven is the V2, V3 form. V3 form. So your time starts now. Next up we have Kanu was stunned to find her dog dash her cell phone. Chew her cell phone, to chew her cell phone, chewed her cell phone, chewing her cell phone. Here the correct answer is Kanu was stunned to find her dog. Here, D. Chewing her cell phone. Chewing her cell phone, first of all, this is what? Chewing her cell phone. This is a noun. Okay, this whole noun phrase. And it is describing an activity. Kanu was stunned to find her dog chewing her cell phone. Others you see chew is just the V1 form, to chew is the infinitive, chewed is the past form. So your time starts now. Okay, next up we have need some coffee. Find out how dash to a cafe. Find out how to get to a cafe. Find out how get to a cafe. Find out how getting to a cafe, or find out how got to a cafe. Pretty easy. Find out how to get to a cafe. Infinitive we are using here. So your time starts now. Okay, next up we have I can't imagine Manju dash quietly even for 2 minutes. I can't imagine Manju sit quietly even for 2 minutes. To sit quietly even for 2 minutes. Having sit quietly for 2 minutes, or D sitting quietly for 2 minutes. Okay, here the correct answer is I can't imagine Manju sitting quietly even for 2 minutes. Sitting is the gerund. Okay, gerund is formed with the verb plus the ing, and here acting like a noun and describing an activity. Activity is what? Sitting quietly, right? So your time starts now. "45 seconds left. "30 seconds left.
15 seconds. 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay, next up, Mukul admitted dash all the milk. Admitted drinking, admitted to drinking, admitted having drunk, or admitted drunk all the milk. Here the correct answer is admitted having drunk all the milk. Okay, Mukul admitted to what? To having admitted having drunk all the milk. Others you see it's gerund a verb plus ing, to drinking incorrect. Again, drunk is the past form. V2 V3 form. So your time starts now. Alright, now we have fill in the blanks by choosing the most appropriate phrasal verbs from the given options. Okay, so we have to fill in choosing the phrasal verbs. Here, yes, the first option. First question, please dash the page. Bring up the page, set on the page, turn over the page, or bring down the page. Here the correct answer is turn over the page. Now turn over is like, starting something or like continuing something. That is turning over the page. Okay, when you flip the page, move on to the next page, that is turning over the page. Then we have bring up. Bring up means this is a verb which can actually have different meanings. Suppose if we say I was brought up in Delhi. Okay, so it's like I grew here in Delhi. I turned into an adult in Delhi. Okay, then we say why are you bringing this up, which means why are you starting this topic, so it could mean like that also. Then we have set on. Set on is when someone is set on someone, that is this person is attacking that person, maybe violently or otherwise, it's setting on. Then we have bring down. Now bring down is actually ending something. Okay, like bring down is also like demolishing something, usually used for governments, bringing down that government or that rule. So it is like overthrowing that government. Okay. So your time starts now. Alright, next up we have
He is dash the trees with an electric saw. Cutting down, carrying on, bringing up, or putting at. Okay, so here the correct answer, pretty easy. He is cutting down the trees. You cut down the trees. Alright, carrying on is to continue something, then bringing up. Bringing up we just discussed, and then we have putting at. Now putting at is used like when you put something at something, like you put money at stake, okay, like that. So you know, to put something at a certain amount, certain size, certain cost of something. All right, that's what putting at could mean. Okay, so your time starts now. Okay, here I was dash in Mumbai and later I settled in Delhi. Broke up in Mumbai, brought up in Mumbai, broke down in Mumbai, or brought down in Mumbai. I just discussed this one with you. I was brought up in Mumbai and later settled in Delhi. You know, like this person grew up in Mumbai. You know, this person became an adult in Mumbai and then later settled in Delhi. All right. Broke up, breakup of something is like ending of something, that could be break up. Then we have breakdown. Breakdown is usually used for machines and something which ends and then requires repair. That's a machine broke down. Again, brought down also. Brought down like means to something that collapses, okay, falls down. It's that this thing was brought down. Okay. So your time starts now. Okay, here she has dashed her mind to study nursing from London. She has shut down her mind, made up her mind, keep off her mind, or put on her mind. So here the correct answer is she has made up her mind to study nursing from London. Made up her mind, which means like she has decided to study nursing from London. Other words, we have shut down. Shut down is like ending something. Then we have keep off. Keep off, staying away from something, like avoiding something. Okay. Put on. Usually we use put on for put on these clothes or put on these shoes. You know, wear them. So your time starts now. Okay, next up we have dash your shoes and enter the temple. Take out your shoes, take in your shoes, take off your shoes, or take up your shoes. Here, pretty easy, I'm sure you know this one. Means take off your shoes. Alright. Okay, the others we have take out. And I'm pretty sure you know what is take out. Like food that comes in take out boxes. Like that is food that is packed and then you can take it away and eat it somewhere else. That's take out. Then we have taken. Taken is involve someone. Okay. Or like if you are taking in something, which means like you're observing it or learning it. Alright. Then take up. Take up like a new job or a new hobby. It's like starting off something, becoming interested in something. Okay. So your time starts now. Okay, here Richa dash a story to entertain the small kids. Made up a story, make up a story, made off a story, or make at a story. Correct answer, pretty easy. Richa made up a story, like cooking up a story. Making up, made up a story. Here it means she like invented her story on her own. Okay. So your time starts now. Next up we have you need to dash an hour before the flight. You need to check in an hour before the flight. Why check in? Check in is used for entering, for making a registration into like the airports, the hotels, check in, check out. Okay. Then here we have check off. Check off is like you have a list. You've done this task, so you check that off your list. Completing it. Okay. So your time starts now. Okay, next up we dash out bread, so we had to drop the idea of making sandwich. We ran away of bread, ran out of bread, or ran off of bread. Sorry, ran away of bread, ran out of bread, ran off of bread, ran in of bread. Okay, so here the correct answer is B, ran out of bread. Running out of something, which means this thing's stock has ended, and which means like you no longer have bread in your house, like that. Okay, then we have ran away. Run away actually means escaping from some place, okay, or avoiding a certain situation, that's running away from it. And then we have run off. Now run off is actually not a phrasal verb, I'm not sure. It can actually be used as water runoff. This it happens in the water cycle. Then you have run in. Now running into someone. Running into someone could be when suppose you run into someone, like you collide with someone, okay, or like bumping into someone. Others unexpectedly you meet someone, that is I ran into that person the other day, like that. Okay. So your time starts now. Okay, here we have, I need to dash away to get the concerts pass. I need to figure in a way, figure at a way, figure off a way, or figure out a way. Okay, here the correct answer is I need to figure out, which means decide and find something out, like search for a way to get the concerts pass. All right. So your time starts now. Next up we have to dash the rules of library. Abide to, abide by, abide for, or abide in. Here the correct answer is B. We have to abide by the rules of library, which means we have to follow, abiding by something, we have to follow the rules of the library. Alright? So your time starts now. Okay, last 5 questions are the hot questions. These say, choose the correct option to complete each sentence. Sanchita wanted me to get my hair dashed, but I refused. Wanted to get my hair to cut, wanted my hair to get my hair cut, or wanted to get my hair be cut, or wanted me to get my hair cutting, but I refused. Okay, here pretty easy. The correct answer is wanted to get my hair cut. Right, but I refused. Others there, this is cut is the one of those verbs where the V1, V2 and the V3 form, all of these are same. Remember, this is one of those irregular verbs.
So your time starts now.
Okay, next up we have either you or he dash to leave the place. Either you or he have, you or he are, or you or he am, or you or he have. Okay, now here the correct answer is D, has. Either you or he has to leave the place. Now this might confuse you. You might be confused कि you के agreement में हम verb लगाएं या फिर हम he के agreement में verb लगाएं. Always make sure कि जो subject यहाँ पर है उसके accordingly आप verb लगाएंगे. Okay? Suppose होता either you or I. Then you would have used either you or I am going to leave the place. Okay? So here is he. So either you or he has. Here has is in accordance with you. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Has is in accordance with he. अगर you के accordance में होता तो हम have लगाते. यहाँ पे हम he के accordance में कर रहे हैं तो either you or he has D to leave the place.
So your time starts now.
Okay, next up we have please don't distract Mohit. He is trying so hard dash on his studies. He is trying so hard to concentrate on his studies, concentrating on his studies, to concentrate on his studies or concentrated on his studies. Here, using the infinitive, he is trying so hard to concentrate on his studies. Using the infinitive. He is trying so hard to do what? To concentrate on his studies. Alright? Others, concentrate is the base form, concentrating is the gerund, and concentrated is the V2 form.
So your time starts now.
Okay, next up we have don't dash yourself dash by practicing your so hard. Don't wear yourself out. Don't wear yourself away. Don't wear yourself up. Don't wear yourself off by practicing so hard. Okay, so here the correct answer is don't wear yourself out, which means, don't tire yourself out by practicing your hard. Don't push yourself so much that eventually, you might give up like that. So don't wear yourself out by practicing so hard. So your time starts now. Okay, here we have Rati was able to dash her sister dash to the idea of camping with great efforts. Was able to bring her sister into the idea, bring her sister round to the idea, bring her sister up to the idea, or bring her sister away to the idea. So here the correct answer is B. Rati was able to bring her sister round to the idea. Bringing someone round to something is like, changing their opinion about something. So here Rati changed the opinion of her sister to the idea of camping with great efforts. So that is bring her sister round to the idea. Right. Others bring in. Bring in is like introducing someone, including someone on something. Then we have bring up. Bring up, I think we've discussed. It's like, and stopping something, like ending something. That's, bring up. Then we have bring away. Bring away is, coming away from some place or some event or bringing about some information.
So that's all for our class on verbs. I hope you have understood the basic premise. Make sure you revise these concepts, and if there were any mistakes made by you, make sure you rectify them so as to avoid making them in the future. Alright, so I will see you the next time. Till then, keep learning and keep revising. Thank you for watching.